who have been in a show based on comic books, Riverdale. How many of you guys are Riverdale fans? How many of you are here because you like them in something else that they've done? Come on, just be like, Cody.
Better.
Friends, there you go.
Big Daddy.
What's it like growing up and now seeing how acting has really affected your life?
I'm rich! I think the biggest change I would say from when I was acting as a kiddo to now is this social media has revolutionized the industry and how we market the industry. And I think, you know, when I started Riverdale, I would get questions a lot like, is there any advice you give the young man? Like, did you take your previous working? And I honestly, no. I mean, the industry was so different by the time that we started in Riverdale. It was a completely different beast. So, I mean, that would be the biggest change.
Well, since we're talking about Riverdale, we're almost exactly 2 years since the finale aired. August 23rd, 2023, so it's been almost exactly 2 years. What do you miss the most and the least from the show?
I miss working with my friends. I think that's my favorite part about working on Riverdale is getting to wake up and see Cole, Charles, I mean everyone, the girls. It was such a privilege to be able to do that every year. The least part would probably be the same. Because there's a lot of moments where not everyone gets along and it can be tough to shoot certain scenes because of whatever's happening behind the scenes, but it's all part of it. It's part of being a part of the family.
I was half expecting you to say dyeing your hair.
Yeah, and that too. I did not enjoy dyeing my hair.
Roasting your scalp. I don't miss the fog of Vancouver. I love the sunshine. I love Atlanta. It's great. I miss the same. I think, you know, it was technically a very difficult show to shoot because it was 10 months a year, oftentimes 6 days a week, 14, 15-hour days, and so you're away from a lot of people and your cast really become your family. And you get really close to your crew too, and then by the end of it, when it finishes, you're just like, okay, bye! And it's like 8 years of time together. It's this really surreal moment where you're very aware that a chapter is closing, but you're not really given enough time to truly process it, and then you're gone.
We shared a trailer together. Oh, wait, we shared a trailer, so we spent a lot of time.
So I heard a lot of weird noises.
Do you guys stay in touch with your former classmates? What's your relationship with with them now?
I mean, we stay in touch with almost all of them.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch. There's a group chat, I think, of a lot of us.
I just send pictures of my feet and stuff.
Most obnoxious in the group chat.
Me. She said I sent pictures of my feet.
There could be worse things you could send in a group chat.
I got very male feet.
Sometimes we just get shirtless photos of Charles too.
Yeah, those are good. I save all those.
Who's the one most likely to send a meme in the group chat?
You.
So on the show, you guys had some great actors that played your parents. What's the most important lesson that they taught you on set of Riverdale?
I think the way they conducted themselves as professionals is something that I took a lot of inspiration from. The older generation of actors was, you know, very aware that how you treat your crew is going to determine your longevity in this industry. You know, the people you spend every day with for 8 years and how you treat those people that are helping you is really, really important. And there's a level of professionalism from just out of pocket, getting people food trucks, getting people massage tables and things like that so that the crew can make it through the long haul like the rest of us is like a really important part of the older generation's etiquette in acting. In acting, you're oftentimes you're oftentimes the cheerleader for the set too, and that's sort of an undescribed part of your job, and they know that.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. A lot of what I learned from Luke was about how we should treat people. And Luke set a very good example of just how kind he was to people. He always remembered everyone's names, and he was just a professional. And everyone who was coming across him and worked with him will say the same thing.
One time I got to get to talk to Luke, and he was encouraging Madeline about, because she was nervous about the press day of the one, and he's like, just make it up, and nobody matters, it doesn't matter, no one cares, we're going to say it, and we're going to forget about it. So did he have any other, like, little goofy advice that he gave you?
I remember when I first worked with Luke, he's such a seasoned vet, where he would have this way of kind of leading me with his eyes onto my mark. Because a lot of the time I would miss my mark where the camera set, and he would kind of get me over and put down a shirt on all my markings because I realized he got me like I was thinking a stray dog. Little things like that. He'd always be helping me to set up shots and stuff, which is usually we're not allowed to do that as actors. It's part of it. This kind of box in the actors do touching the equipment, but Luke was out there carrying.
That's a no.
Yeah.
No, I loved Luke. My favorite thing about Luke was that he would talk really close to your face. There's this bubble of personal space that we have that we feel comfortable with, and someone can get like here uncomfortable, but then when someone's here talking to your face, I mean, you really become who you are. They see it. He would look into your soul when he would talk to you, and I for some reason I remember that. Thankfully, his breath was delightful. It wasn't, that would be a problem, but would you have told him if it was? Ew. Just pop the tic-tac.
Wait, what did you say?
Would you have told him? He had bad breath and it was that close to your face. So it's been a little while. We've had some time to reflect on your performances in Riverdale. What would you change about the show if you could?
Nothing. I think a show like that, an episodic show is interesting because an actor is very much determined by the writing, the director, and the editing. And those big things can impact your performance tremendously. And on an episodic show, the director is changing every episode. So the director has different ideas of what's good, what's bad, what they like. Sometimes you get an editor's director who's thinking about the way the show is going to look in post, but not an actor's director. Sometimes you get an actor's director, which is really defending performance. And when you're doing a long-run show like that, like, the key is to stand, however you get across the finish line, get across the finish line. Just do it. And so, no, I don't think I'd change anything. I think we made it. Like, we made it by the skin of our teeth. And by month 10, all of us were like,
the changes that you saw throughout the season, were there any variations of your characters that you preferred over others? Because you guys play a lot of different aspects.
Sure, I really enjoyed the last season. I feel like that was my favorite season. My favorite version of Archie too. He was a little more, there was more energy to the character, and I think that being set in the 50s gave me less limitations. And allowed us to kind of be a little more playful and more similar to the excitement of the comics. That was the funnest season. I mean, apart from season 1 and being fresh and young and feeling like we were a part of something really special, but the last season to me felt like we were kind of off with a bang.
I really like the sort of tween-age adolescent vibe. And I made me kind of wish the whole show was this like golly merch sort of yuck. Like the tone of that was really unique and interesting. But there's no way we would have got financing, so that's
Did you have any favorite 50s slang that you used in that final season?
sock hop, love that. Don't know what that means. The visual was kind of disgusting actually. But yeah,
experiences that you guys had just a hard time with that was like constantly breaking your character or making bloopers?
No, I mean, I don't really remember. 7 seasons, wiped out my brain. 7 seasons of pure camp and molasses, you could probably say just. I mean, that was the beauty of that show, and I'm like, this is my favorite part about Riverdale, just thinking backwards, is there's never going to be another time in our careers where we're going to waterboard someone with maple syrup, fight aliens who happen to be hillbillies in a scrapyard, like watch my mother get in a fucking ninja battle, you know, like, you get to try out everything.
I got attacked by a man.
You did a lot of nice stuff on that show.
The one thing I wish the audience got to see more of was tables, and how the cast actually interacted with the content itself, because all of us were laughing so hard when we would read these scripts. I wish we would have see that.
And we get so serious and sad when we're shooting this.
But then we had to take it so serious.
I was watching videos, like YouTube videos of, I think, truthfully, I'd say something like Apache moments on YouTube at like 1 a.m. in my bed. And it was just this fight compilation of Apache just fighting with these people. And I was like, man, I don't even remember. Like, those things took so much energy. We would be like 4 a.m. at night. We put so much energy into those things. I was kind of amazed. Think about it. When you watch those scenes.
You are shirtless quite a bit throughout this show.
Yeah.
Did you have a routine to get your pump going before you filmed?
I'll never forget from a guy that was not shirtless nearly as much. But we would film 15-hour days, and I remember one day it's raining, it's like 15-hour days, like 3 a.m. You're like, I gotta go for a run, I'm shirtless. And I'm like, dude, it's 3 a.m. He went for like an hour and a half run in the rain at 3 a.m. in Vancouver just to know, because he knew he was gonna be shirtless. I mean, it takes a lot of work. Also, I was talking about this the other day, but when was the last time you guys saw the first X-Men? The very first one with Hugh Jackman. Probably been a while. That's a normal guy, right? Shirtless. That's a normal looking guy. Now, I mean, the bar has gone up like crazy in terms of shirtless physicality for actors, and what that means is a level of regimen that you are partaking in that is also a full-time job next to your job, which is acting. And I got a lot of respect for the way you used to hustle yourself in order to do that, dude. That stuff is so difficult. I just had to eat your hamburgers.
Do you remember any of your routine from it?
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy working out. It's always been a part of my life. My dad had me in the gym from like 6 years old. I used to watch him work out all the time. So I love being physical and I love working out. So it wasn't really that difficult because it came really naturally. And I really enjoy it. And there's also, to be honest, I definitely struggled with it a lot. I think I developed a lot of unhealthy habits because of an expectation. You know, when there's a scene written with me with my shirt off, the scene is about my body. You know, it's not about anything else other than me having my shirt off. And that comes with a lot. That comes with a lot of. I mean, at some point, I think toward season 5, season 6, I stopped caring as much about how I looked, just because it was taking a real toll on my mental. But yeah.
Your showrunner said that you often ask to be shirtless. No, that's not true.
Yeah, it might be true. It might season 1, season 2. I don't know.
Well, I mean, dude, I look like you.
That would have been Charles.
If I look like you, I'd
Okay.
be up your name.
You're like, what's up, dude? Here's my 8-pack. Man, it definitely wasn't me because I had to cover all my tattoos, and I really didn't enjoy being shirtless at some point. I think I got more tattoos because of how resentful I was at being shirtless. But it really just ended up making it harder for me because I'd spend 2 hours in the makeup chair before I shirtless.
I would just be wiping hands when
How many tattoos do you have?
A few. I've never counted them, but I've got a few.
What's your favorite?
My favorite is
My face is a whole back tattoo.
The tramp stamp that you're talking about?
The tramps. It's just me going.
I don't really have a favorite.
Well, these guys do want to take questions from all of you. So if you have questions from them, you can line up along that wall over there and march up to the microphone. So our first question, come on up to the microphone.
How you doing?
I'm so nervous right now.
Don't even worry.
I'm genuinely shocked if anyone has asked you this yet.
I would not
What is your persona, both of you?
be. That's a furry thing, right?
Yes.
I think I would be like a worm. I don't know. I just feel like most people pick their like furry animal like it's always a noble beast. Like, you're telling me there's not one like
You'd be a crow.
a crow? That's cool. That's way better than a worm. But I just feel like there's never like cockroach Kim. You know what I'm saying? Like bug boy. Like I know some people would be praying mantises, and you never see those. I want to see those. We need to bring the bugs in, dude.
Wait, what was it?
I think.
What was the question?
I think you'd be like a jaguar.
I think I'd just be a dog.
I think you'd be a beautiful tree.
Thank you for your
Thank
question.
you, that was good.
I'm a bug.
I'm just thinking of furry guys.
Right, I guess that would be furry though.
Exactly.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
My name's Hope. I just wondered what's some of the craziest or most surprising theories you heard or saw while filming Riverdale about the series, or about the movies, rather.
Passed around a lot of our own too. That we were like kind of recording Here's a Boo, like in a little snowflake, or like we were trapped inside this Riverdalian like snow globe, and like all the events that were happening was because of some external cosmic force. I was convinced at one point, because we were all given dolls of our characters at the beginning by our showrunner, and I was convinced that the end reveal was just going to be him as like a puppeteer, and like all of us inside our little dollhouses, like,
Didn't we all, because Jughead narrates the show, we began to, think that maybe it's kind of how we did it. I don't know, I didn't really think about the time jump, but I did think that Jughead was kind of retelling a tale that lasted as long as we should.
yeah, there was a theory that Jughead was the original Jughead in the comic books, writing about a version of a future, like a contemporary, and that's why some things were off. Like the cars were still classic, because he couldn't conceive of what a car would look like in actual 2020. And so there were like these, we thought that for a bit, but by the end of it, we just accepted whatever.
There's a lot going on the page.
Oh, yeah.
Season 6, you guys had the superpowers. Did you guys have a favorite superpower, one that you wished your character got? Yeah, you can read mine.
Yeah. We would just call Jughead Megamind. My mind. Well, I really wanted to get his head just through.
That's what I thought was good.
Big old yeah.
What was mine? I was strong, right? Super strong.
You were invulnerable.
That's right. I remember calling Roberta when it was invulnerable. That's a good superpower.
How you doing?
Hi, I'm Kaylee. In Riverdale, instead of your respective characters, who else would you play?
Kevin. I love that character.
I love that.
He's my favorite character. I get asked that all the time. What's your favorite Riverdale character to play? And I'm like,
Yeah, Kevin. I loved. Especially his character.
he had great storylines.
Yeah.
And
Except the tickling thing.
I love that. Like all of them.
Tickling. Yeah. I'm probably FP. You know, I like skiing. I'm still so close. But that was, that was. I mean, I always wanted to work with him in those scenes for sure.
So both of your characters were writers of some content on the show. If you were writing a book, what would you want to title it? Or a song for Archie?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
How to survive the convention circuit with Cole Sprouse. What's up, buddy?
Hi, my name is Alice, and I was wondering, what was the scariest part about filming Riverdale?
Probably crafty. Yeah, craft service probably.
You know what that is? You know what that is?
That's like food, like the food they put out for you. Like our dog meals. Our brown kibble that just changes ever so slightly every day. And they would corral us into little pens. And they would splash water on us if we didn't eat, so we would go down to our bowls and we'd eat real quick. Then we'd have to scramble back to set. But no, the food was actually not bad. No, the food was great.
It was great. The scariest thing to me, I mean, I remember in season 1, this was one of my first jobs working out. I remember just wanting to do a good job. And I was very nervous about just going to every scene. I just wanted to do a good job. Over time, as the success of the show grew, I think that the stress of that got alleviated because we were doing really well. But I still get that. I still get really nervous before every single scene when the cameras roll. Get that feeling. Still scary.
That's true. You know, a lot of people didn't know that we finished the entirety of the first season before it even came out. And so all of us were like really, really, really pushing hard to make it as cool and great as possible. And when it was successful, it was like the biggest sign of relief ever. Those nerves are real. Like getting those nerves before you do anything really just means you care about it.
So with season 1 being filmed before anybody saw it, you kind of lived in a bubble, having the societal expectations for you. So how did that change going into subsequent seasons when now you have that pressure?
I mean, creatively it changes a lot. A lot of musicians talk about this with their second album too, because usually the first album is created within this sort of bubble. And you're really raw and you're yourself. And then, you know, like the first season, all of a sudden people like certain aspects of the show, the studio comes in, it's financing the project, they go, we need a little bit more of that, let's bring that towards the front. Then those are the storylines that get pushed. You know, people react to certain characters a little better than other characters. Those characters get more screen time, this sort of thing. So it changes everything. I mean, our first season was 13 episodes. Our second season was 23. It also puts a lot of change onto the writing staff. Like the writing staff is now working 11 months of the year, cranking out content that is largely determined by what the studio thinks is the most sellable part of the show. So everything changes after the first season. First season, as a general rule of thumb, for anyone in film and TV, is like normally most people's favorite season who are working on the project because it's just like long.
So you also have the time to polish it. Like the scripts have more time to get through.
Everyone's putting everything that they have into what they're doing, including the crew. And then that starts to get less and less, and then you keep going.
Yeah, you create the standard, you figure out where the bar sits, and then you can deviate a little bit from that. But you know, and I know I've mentioned this a couple times, but to get through 23-hour-long episodes over 10 months, you really just got to get through it. It usually means that we were shooting huge scripts too. We had 2 takes with almost every scene, regardless of the scene. If it was a big emotional scene, you got 2 takes. If it was not a big emotional scene, you got 2 takes. If it was a fight sequence, you normally got 2 takes. If it was a stunt, you got 2 takes. So we were running. I mean, we were shooting close to 20 pages every day of content. That's a lot of work. And you can't, like, you need to, this is how the sausage is made, you kind of need to create a standard that is easily attainable, or else you're not getting across the finish line.
It's how the sausage is made.
Lots of sausage. Especially on Fridays. Did you guys have any, like, I know Fridays are a huge thing, especially for TV. The craziest thing that happened on Friday.
Oh, maybe you got in a car crash. I did, yeah. It was on a Saturday, like 16-hour day. Crashed my car on the freeway, fell asleep, took out a couple of street lamps. Every CW actor after that got driven to work. And to this day, I get pats on the back when I go to these events. I go, man, thank you so much, man. I get driven to work. That's it.
I feel like Tom Welling talked about that a lot too. Of like they didn't have the drivers, or when he was driving himself to set for so long, and then finally they made that change. And
I was one of the only people that continued driving myself. I really enjoyed that alone time before getting to work and being in the car by myself and stuff.
was it nerve-wracking after that?
A little bit. I think I had to get drunk for the first couple of weeks. I was actually driving a rental car too. Luckily, I was in my own car, and I think I was, yeah, that rattled me for sure.
What's your dream car?
My dream car? I just, I drive a Tacoma, any Toyota Tacoma, people love it. Yeah, there's this huge crowd of Toyota Tacomas. I just drive my truck.
Well, and KJ, you've been in a lot of music-based roles. So Archie was a musician, you've been Jeremy Camp on And I Still Believe, and you're getting ready to play Bradley from Sublime. So what is it about playing musicians that you love?
Music is always number one for me in terms of what I'm drawn to as an artist. I feel like music is always, since I was a kid, it's been something that I've been really passionate about. With Bradley, it really came down to no one else could play that role, and I truly believe that. And that's what I told the studio basically, because I knew that there was there's only a few people that can actually execute something like that. And I think for a role like Bradley, with so many beloved people who've followed that band for such a long time and the mark that band made on the world, it was important to me, and I was trying to reiterate to people making this movie that it's important for the music to be executed right. You have to cast someone who actually can do that.
What was it about Bradley's story that made you want to take that role?
Bradley struggled with a lot of things that I felt in my life at a certain age I was dealing with. He had a child very young, and he didn't get to have the opportunity to raise his son at a very similar age to when I had my son. And for me to have the opportunity to step into that and almost connect with Bradley's spirit was a beautiful thing too. He was just a beautiful soul. He was just oozing music 24/7, and he didn't give a shit about what anyone thought about it. There's a line that goes forever. Can't wait for that.
I'm very excited to see it. Does it have an extra layer of pressure of playing real people like Jeremy and Bradley?
Sure. I think when I played Jeremy, it was I was very new in my love for acting. I was still very puppy doggish in terms of the way I approached my work. And so, more care for what I'm doing and characters that resonate with me a little more. I think the approach for each project is different, especially as we get older, I think. And I think I'm just grateful, I'm grateful that if I continue getting these opportunities, it'll be awesome, but I'm just grateful for it.
And well, you've been doing some fashion photography. How did you get into that world?
I was in New York, and I was doing photography at the time, and then that was I didn't think I was going to go back to acting until I went to Riverdale, and that was my bread and butter. That was the work I was doing, and I just And it seems like now on social media, like a lot of whatever you study or do alongside your acting career is like just helps. Like it all feeds off each other, which is great. But it's definitely a passion. It's interesting, you know, social media has done a lot of damage to the editorial scene. Like print is dying really rapidly, and we're seeing a lot of budgets for big fashion. We're talking like Condé Nast, we're talking Vogue, you know, like they're not the print quality's not the same as it used to be, or like you're seeing a lot more advertisements. It's like damn studio shoots and things like that. Like these magazines are dying, which is fascinating. I think it's creating a really compelling, like sort of skeleton crew art scene within the fashion world. But visuals, I mean, we're the most trained, like millennials, Gen Z are the most trained in the language of imagery ever. I mean, we digest 90% of our information through imagery on social media now, so people know what's good and know what's bad more than they've ever known. And I think that's really cool. And it's made all of us in some ways like visual artists. The way we pass memes, the way we digest these things through, you know, a sort of visual language makes us all really good at this. And I always recommend people to pick up a camera, even if it's a disposable camera, pick up a paintbrush, do whatever it is, because you're already 10,000 hours trained in the language of that medium. Like you're gonna be good from the jump, which is awesome.
So as an actor, you can't rely on the industry to feed you inspiration. And I think that would be advice for if anyone, like, you know, if my son came to me and he said, I want to be an actor, I would say, great, but you have to have something else that you love, you know? And I think, I mean, when I look at you and your photography, you're almost as in love with it as
and same for music with you. I also think, you know, acting is one of those disciplines that is essentially empathy. That's really just all it is. It's just to empathize with a human experience, and the best way to do that is to just spread your footprint out to a bunch of different things, learn from a bunch of different people, meet a bunch of different communities, and just do that thing. So like, just going, learning, doing something else is like the best thing you can do for an acting career, in my opinion.
I talk to a lot of authors and they talk about that too, of having that side project that is just for you, that creative outlet that is just for you, and how important that is to feed them. How does photography feed your creativity as an actor?
I mean, it certainly informs the way you want people to interact in front of your camera, and then that informs how you would want to be perceived when you're in front of it yourself. So I think acting is interesting. You'll see like a lot of stage actors talk about this, like the transition from theater to like film and TV. Like the idea of a close-up and how you interact with the camera during a close-up is very different from a wide shot when you can see more physicality. And it's learning that language of how you're supposed to interact with like a certain type of camera is fascinating to me. It's a language you develop throughout your entire life, and there's no one right way of doing it, but there's definitely like, you can tell when people hold themselves with a certain kind of energy in front of something, and that's interesting.
I love listening to creative people talk about creativity. Is there a mentality or a routine that you do to help you get into the creative mindset?
just get hammered.
No, not really. I think fun is the big important one. Like, if you're having fun, it's a state of play, and you can catch yourself having fun in your present. Like, that's the best indication that like you're probably doing good work. I really believe that if you're enjoying yourself while you're doing it, you're better at what you're doing because it's a flow state, and that's awesome and exciting. So if you're like doing whatever you're doing, you're like, this sucks, man. Why am I doing this? Then don't do it. There's going to be times when it's challenging. Like there's going to be times when you're pressed a little bit, and you have to manage accidents and things like that. But if you're not having fun in any of the process, then you're probably not really supposed to be doing that.
What do you do for fun outside of acting and photography?
Huge video. Massive. Love it.
What's your favorite?
I mean, I built my PC a while ago. I play like truly everything. I'm not like a shooter guy, though. I don't do like the first-person shooter stuff. I'm like, city management sins. Reconstructing the LA freeway system, because it sucks. That's my stuff, dude. I love it.
KJ, what do you do for fun?
What I do for fun, tan. I work out. I mean, I have 3 daughters, so.
How's fatherhood treating you?
Great. It's amazing.
With your kid, like, 'cause I noticed on your Instagram you don't show his face. So what's it like for you being a public-facing person and trying to protect your child from the world at large?
It doesn't really feel like that to me. I don't feel that kind of pressure or I genuinely, that feels just like anyone else, you know. It's just like anyone else raising their child.
So in Riverdale, there was an episode where the gang threw a true crime con. If you guys were to attend a convention as attendees, not as people being on the stage, what kind of convention would you go to?
Spider-Man. Go Spider-Man convention, I love Spider-Man.
Just wear a mask and run.
I'd love to meet you.
That's Spider-Man.
I don't know.
I used to go to conventions all the time. When I was younger, I started going to my first convention at San Diego Comic Con when I was like 12. And it was before it's like this multimedia thing, but
What a way to start.
I used to cosplay in college, and I would show up to conventions in full fit.
To the comic store.
Worked at a comic book shop in LA for a year, and then I still go to conventions. I go to the anime conventions, I go to the comic conventions, I go to the horror conventions. I used to go, not sitting behind the table, but now I am. And you know what? It feels good to have a chair. it feels real good to have a chair. I'm not gonna lie. And the green room's nice. They have an oxygen tank in there. I have oxygen there. Yeah. It's the first time I've ever seen this. They're also like, we have IV treatments in case you want one. I'm like, maybe a needle in the green room of an Atlanta convention center. Not my cup of tea, but oxygen sounds really good.
So who would you cosplay as?
I cosplayed as Link when I was younger. I cosplayed as Howl from Howl's Moving Castle. I cosplayed as, there's an anime called Fullmetal Alchemist. I did that. I just a bunch. I love costumes. You give me any excuse to get a costume, I'll fucking do it.
KJ, will we catch you in a Spider-Man costume?
100%. It's probably the only thing that I would be stoked about at a convention. Spider-Man costume.
I can see you doing some WWE stuff.
Oh yeah, I love John Cena. I was obsessed with John Cena when I was a kid. I was just every my whole room was John Cena.
Surprised you to see it.
I learned all his sayings. You can't see me. Hustle, loyalty, respect. I love those values and morals too. It's like, okay, yeah, hustle. I can be loyal. I can be respectful.
He's also just an incredible guy. You know, he's got the highest Make-A-Wish record out of anybody else, and like triple overlaps the next one.
I thought you were talking about me.
No. Hey, on the other hand.
And I saw him in the gym one time in Vancouver, shooting Riverdale.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of interrupting his workout. I can't even talk about it. It's like,
No, but now you have to. You brought it up now. You have to talk about it. Tell us the tea.
but he was working out, you know, and I get that, but he was just shrugging me off a little bit.
Yeah, dude, he was working out. Supposed to do you more than anyone else. You're supposed to talk to someone who's
Really sad.
So we need to get you on a convention and like with him at the same time, so you can make amends. What's your favorite workout to do in the gym?
Kegels.
I don't know. Just do whatever. I just like came out of pumping and feel like I'm flogged by the end of it.
So we were talking backstage about how I went to college with the guy who played Reggie, Charles William, and in the finale there's a reference to him playing sports at Kansas State. There is. And there are any personal references for you guys that got left on the show.
I mean, Dylan did half of the episodes.
Does he know you?
No one knows that.
No, that's true.
Dylan played Jughead in all of the Flash forward sequences. And I honestly, no, there's no references. You know, Disney wouldn't have liked that.
So we do have one more question. What's your question?
Hey,
I was just wondering what differentiates between good and bad directing on set. I've worked with so many.
there's no, I don't think it's good and bad. I think Guillermo del Toro had an interesting conversation recently where they asked him what his job as a director was. And he said, my job is, paraphrase, basically managing accidents. It is truly miraculous with 150 cooks in the kitchen building an idea from scratch on paper that anything in film and television gets done. And there are hundreds of accidents day after day. I would say a director that is hard to work with is one that doesn't manage accidents well. That's probably the biggest difference. But in terms creatively, like some people are actors, directors, some people are editors, directors. Like it's very different, and no one is better than the other in that regard. But if you can't manage accidents, it's going to be a really, really difficult set for sure. Great question.
Thank you. I have a question for you. Were you apprehensive about jumping onto another TV show after seeing Disney?
Yeah, huge. That's it. I thought Jughead was just an Aaron when I first saw him. Because in the pilot, he's in like one little scene. And it's like, in the end of the rest, you just hear his voice in the rest. I was like, this is easy. There's going to be a voice in this. This is perfect. I don't really know if I'm going to be back in acting at the time. And then like episode 2 was just like, what about every scene, dude? Okay, whoa. We got picked up the scene. It's completely different. I literally thought it was just going to be a voice and like maybe a little scene here and there. Fly back to LA. Do my thing.
What's your name? What's your question?
Hello, my name is Shaquille. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
There was a crossover episode with Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Are there any shows that you think would have fit well with a Riverdale crossover?
I mean, Supernatural at one point. I would have loved that. But those guys are so awesome. They're huge.
Big guys.
Big dudes. Like Pat McKee's a brick shit house. I mean, that guy is a wall with legs. And he was staying in gas tank. And he goes, I was telling him, I'm like, oh, I'm living in gas tank. He's like, yeah, I lived in gas tank in the first season. And I was like, okay. And he was like, yeah, someone tried to mug me there. Jump about 5. And I'm like, someone's trying to mug you? Like, I'm dead. If someone's trying to mug Padalecki, I am going to get killed. But really sweet guys.
And it's our time, so give it up one more time for the Polish.